Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Thursday, the 5th of June. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. This morning is very special because I want to say thank you to Sonar Fashions in Tamale 0246590162. They'll get something special for you and yours. But this morning is very, very special. Very special because I have people very close to me who have influenced my life, or one way or the other, who are celebrating their birthdays today. The very first is my big sister, Harriet Theresa Hughes. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Harriet. Also, a happy birthday to Nana Yao Osei Dakwa, the Green Republican, president and founder of the Green Republic. His 50 years today. Happy birthday to you. Also to Rebecca Ashley, now Betty, of EcoBank East Airport branch. This is from Robert Tete Coleman of Wembley Sports and the entire Coleman family. They wish you a happy birthday. Reverend Father Obed Kwal, Aziz Donla Inwa, your birthday as well. And if it is your birthday and I might have forgotten, happy birthday to you. Yesterday was, mixed feelings for me because the Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana had her farewell or send-off party yesterday. Her Excellency, now Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavye, who's been in Ghana, taking care of Ghana, Togo, Benin, Liberia, Sierra Leone, yesterday at an event. And we now know that she is the Foreign Affairs Minister of the Republic of Namibia. That's her hardworking, diligent, and very affable diplomat of international repute there. Her Excellency Musavye, Selma Musavye, Ashipala Musavye. And she's done her work. She's ended her tour. We wish her well here in the Republic of Ghana and then in the other countries that she had to take care of. And we wish her all the best. Madam, congratulations and thank you very much. I was there with Lois Kisiedu and the head of station of 3FM 92.7. So congratulations to you, Madam. Now, there's a quote that we'll begin with today. It says, people lie. One of my uncles in the UK sent this to me. It says, people lie. Patterns don't. Humans subconsciously tell you their intentions by their patterns they display, good, bad, or indifferent. If you pay close attention to someone, someone will tell you exactly where you stand with them without them ever having to actually tell you. I take it again. People lie, patterns do not. Humans subconsciously tell you their intentions by the patterns they display, good, bad, or indifferent. If you pay close attention, someone will tell you exactly where you stand with them without them ever having to actually tell you. Think about this deeply and think about what's happening around us. The key national issues. Nurses are on strike. They are demanding for stuff. People are complaining about the new tax. Yes, they have the right to do. I insist that stakeholder consultation should have been done. People are doing their own gymnastics with it. Nurses are asking for their conditions of service. I don't have a problem. Look, find me their roadmap, please. I don't have a problem with nurses insisting that their conditions of service that has been agreed to be done for them. I don't have a problem at all. In fact, if you read the Labor Act at 651/2003, it talks about conditions of service. It talks about the work environment. It talks about responsibility of the employer and the employee and all of that. It details everything down. So if there's a collective agreement, it is also the Labor Acts that will be paid attention to. Please put it up there, the roadmap. Let's see the roadmap. So I've been showing you this all week. In fact, I read for the notice to you last week, but I've been showing you this all week. And a nurse friend of mine said yesterday that I'm trending on the nurse pages and every nurse is literally interested in what will fall out of my mouth. They come here, Some have called me a hypocrite. Some say I got it wrong. I got the issues wrong, blah, 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 blah. When I have a firm conviction, and this is the roadmap, 2nd to 3rd of June, 2025, wearing of red armbands, headbands at work. 4th to 8th of June, 2025, withdrawal of all OPD services, including public health services, ANC services, and all specialist clinic. And then the 9th of June, 2025, total withdrawal of all services. So somebody said, a nurse told me yesterday that I should see how the strike is going. So that literally called it a game. He said it is a game. People's lives are in the balance, in the fix, but for some people it's a game. And then I inquired further from other people, and the whole point is that, the PRO of the Ministry of Health may have written, there's a press release that they wrote. And then they suggest that it doesn't show respect to nurses, and they think that nurses are being taken for granted. In fact, somebody even mentioned that in 2015, or is it 2016, a certain arrangement was had with nurses but was not achieved. And at the time, it was Dr. Kesela Tufosin who was Deputy Finance Minister. So he is back again, and they are visiting the sins of the past on him. That's what one... And if you listen to the arguments, there are many different arguments. People are allowed to make those arguments. But you see, I've always asked a simple question, and that question I asked has not come. And I'll repeat the question. That the desire to be a professional, as Dr. Gandao say, is individual. The desire to be a professional is individual. Your desire to be a professional, to say you want to be a lawyer. So you will go to the Ghana Law School to get your professional law certificate, be called to the bar to be a professional, is individual. To be a doctor and to be a specialist is individual. To be a nurse, to be a teacher is individual. To be a PR professional with the IPR is individual. To be part of the institution of engineers is individual. Architects is individual. So how does a desire that is individual now become the burden of the state? I've asked that question. I haven't gotten an answer. That's one. And then the impression is created that, I'm saying that because there are more nurses than there are teachers, and so, yes, if they start paying, no, that's not what I said. I'm saying that if they begin paying for your licensure, your licenses, right? Other professionals who are also working for the state will come and say, you have paid it for them, so pay for us too. The question I asked is, at the time when the agreement was being signed, we ourselves, per our leadership, said that the economy of the country was not in good shape. The economy is still not in good shape. That is why this whole petrol tax and whatever it is being brought onto you. The economy is not in good shape. We went to the IMF to borrow money. We have not paid. Many other payments have even been postponed. The economy is not in good shape. We know. But it has been signed. So you are insisting. And it is your right. But let me ask a question. If the licenses are paid for you, it becomes a burden of the state. When you close from the state-owned clinic or hospital, and you go and do your locum at the private hospital with the same license, because that is a professional requirement for you to be able to administer the service that you have to administer. So you are using what we have acquired for you as license, if we do acquire it for you, to go and do your locum. Won't you be shortchanging the country? Won't you be shortchanging the country? It's a simple question. You work in somebody's office. You use the person's printer and his A4 sheets and his laptop or his computer and his electricity and whatever it is to type your private document and print it and laminate it and bind it and blah, 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 and you take it away. That is not to the benefit of the company. So yes, you are demanding. But when we finish and we give you the license and you go and use it for locum, will you bring us some of the money? That answer too has not come. Oh, it has not come. And then you see it's okay to stand in solidarity with groupings. It's okay. For some people, and yesterday I spoke to some rotational nurses. The argument is that they have to work under a senior or somebody who is qualified because they are still learning. That's a fair point to make. But then there are others who also say we will not be part of the strike. Right? But then you find that those who are the matrons and their supervisors in those health facilities are the ones who may have joined the strike or have joined the strike. And then they use that to intimidate them to say, Unim na oye. Unim na obejuma. Unim na oya. They spoke with me. And then the first line that the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association wrote is that no intimidation. Who is intimidating who? Yesterday I told the nurse that who is intimidating you? You are making your demands. You have gone on strike. You have seen people struggling to survive. Yesterday in the Ashanti region, you saw the woman struggling for her life, the oxygen mask on her face. You saw it. You saw it. You are seeing people, children being turned away because their vaccination is due, but they have been turned away because there's nobody there to sort them out. All of those things, yes. You are doing it. So who is intimidating? Nobody is intimidating anybody. You have still gone ahead, contrary to what the laws say. Find me the National Labour Commission. They gave a directive. And it will be important to see how the nurses who want to play by the same rules within Act 651 of the Labour Law 2003. They want to exact their rights in the law, enforce their rights in the law. The Labour Commission is also drawing the attention to what is contained in the law. Let's read together. This is dated the 4th of June, 2025. Directive, notification of industrial action. It's very urgent. That's what the Labour Commission says. The Commission received a notice of industrial action from the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association on 29th of May 2025. As a matter of urgency and as essential services providers in accordance with Section 162 of the Labour Act 2003, Act 651, and Regulation 20 of LI 1833, Labour Regulations 2007, the Commission, in a letter dated the 30th of May 2025, and in line with the powers of the Commission under Section 138 of the Labour Act, summoned the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association to appear before it on Wednesday, the 4th of June, that was yesterday, and further directed that all planned actions commencing with the wearing of red bands to withdrawal of services must be halted to allow the Commission to intervene in the process. They wrote to the Commission on the 29th, got a response on the 30th. The Commission says, hold on with everything you have planned. Wait for us. Yesterday, let's meet and see how we can resolve this matter. Mind you, the roadmap I showed you at the beginning of this editorial started on the 2nd and 3rd. Yesterday, full-blown, no OPD, no emergency services, contrary to what the National Labour Commission had directed. And the Labour Act is what the Labour Commission is quoting. And the demands that are being made by the nurses is also drawing power from the same Labour Act. While the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, represented by its chief executive, Ministry of Health and Allied Institutions and the Ministry of Finance were present before the Commission on Wednesday, 4 June 2025, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association failed to appear before the Commission and has carried out its intended industrial action. The Commission notes that the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association failed to comply with Section 159 of the Labour Act 2003, Act 651, regarding notice leading to such industrial action. The Commission declares the industrial action by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association as illegal and directs them to call it off with immediate effect. The Commission further directs, because we'll pull that thing up, that one, members of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association resume work at their respective facilities immediately. The leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association continue with the engagement with the National Labour Commission on the implementation of the collective agreement and report the outcome to the Commission by the 25th of June 2025 at 2:30 p.m. And this is signed by an official, Mrs. Rose Kakari Anang. She's the deputy chairperson on behalf of the Commission. Let's see the distribution list. This was distributed to the ministries that are connected to this. So the Chief Executive Officer, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Finance, Accra, the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Health, Accra, Ghana, the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, the Director General, Ghana Health Service, the Chief Executive Officer, Mental Health Authority, the Chief Executive Officers of all teaching hospitals, the Executive Director, Charge, Christian Health Association of Ghana, the head of another institution is there, but particular attention is to the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Fori Ampofo, and then also the general secretary of that same institution or organization, Dr. David Tinkrang Chum. This was what the labor union has written. Now let's check out the portions of the Labour Act that the Commission made mention to. Now, the Labour Act says notice of intention to resort to strike or lockout. Notice of intention to resort to strike or lockout. Where the parties fail to agree to refer the dispute to voluntary arbitration, or B, the dispute remains unresolved at the end of the arbitration proceedings. Either party intended to take a strike action or institute a lockout shall give written notice of this to the other party and the Commission within 7 days after failure to agree to refer the dispute to voluntary arbitration or the termination of the proceedings. Question: were the 7 days that this same law that the nurses are drawing power from to do what they are doing says 7 days, did they fulfill 7 days? The Labour Commission says no, they flouted this. Strike and lockout, that's section 60. A party to an industrial dispute who has given notice of intention to resort to a strike or lockout under section 159 may do so only after the expiration of 7 days from the date of the notice and not at any other time before the expiration of that period. 2. If the dispute remains unresolved within 7 days from the commencement of the strike or lockout, the dispute shall be settled by compulsory arbitration under section 164. Cooling off period. A party to an industrial dispute, that's section 161, shall not resort to a strike or lockout during the period when negotiation, mediation, or arbitration proceedings are in progress. The breakaway unions say, let's go and have negotiation. 2. Any party who contravenes subsection 1 is liable for any damage, loss, or injury suffered by any other party to the dispute. Now, this is that which concerns the nurses, and if you can add doctors, anesthetists, and lab technicians, and all of those who are writing to say, oh, we support your strike, we support the strike. This is in the law. I didn't write it. Labour Act 651, 2003. Section 162 is on essential services. They say in any industrial dispute that affects workers engaged in an essential service, and this includes nursing and midwifery, the parties to the dispute shall endeavor to settle the dispute within 3 days of the occurrence of the dispute by negotiation. 2. If after the expiration of the 3 days the dispute remains unresolved, the parties shall within 24 hours of the expiration of the 3 days refer the dispute to the Commission for settlement by compulsory arbitration under section 164. 3. The Commission shall take immediate steps, but not later than 3 days after the dispute has been referred to it, to settle the dispute by compulsory arbitration under section 164. Prohibition of strike or lockout in respect of essential services. Please listen carefully. An employer carrying on or a worker engaged in an essential service shall not resort to a lockout or strike in connection with or in furtherance of any industrial dispute involving the workers in the essential service. Listen, no, go back to it. An employer carrying on or a worker engaged in an essential service shall not resort to a lockout or strike in connection with or in furtherance of any industrial dispute involving the workers in the essential service. I'm sure the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association have lawyers. Are they breaking the law? Go back to the law. Let the law be in the faces of everybody. Section 163 of Labor Act 651. It says if you work as an essential service provider, strike and lockout is not your option when it comes to trying to further any industrial dispute. You are disputing with the ministry. You have every right to dispute with them. But the law, the very law, the same law is comprehensive. The law that you are drawing your right from, the law also places this responsibility on you and precludes you from going on a strike and a lockout. This will not be hey. As a former Chief Justice said, all the noises and hand waving, blah, blah, blah. The law is the law, is the law. The law is the law, is the law. This is the law. This law is what created the collective agreement, which is a policy, if you will. Policy emanates from the law. And then comes implementation. So if the law that is giving strength to your policy is being disregarded flagrantly, I'm not sure that many nurses have even taken their time and many midwives have taken their time to read what the law says. This is the law. The law. Johnny Hughes didn't write the law. Johnny Hughes, the hypocrite, Johnny Hughes, the stomach journalist, Johnny Hughes, the one who has gone to take bribe to do PR, Johnny Hughes, the one who doesn't like nurses, Johnny Hughes, the one who wants patients to die in this country, Johnny Hughes, the one who wants to see children suffer in the hospitals, Johnny Hughes, the very person who doesn't care about the health care and the well-being of our nurses, Johnny Hughes, the same person who is on Mambo 4 and Nation Record, did not write this law. And I can tell you a good authority, when this law was being formulated or being drafted, the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association were part. The labor unions made an input. They saw this law. They agreed to it. Before it went to Parliament, memoranda were received, petitions were received, first, second, third reading, consideration stage, all of those parliamentary stuff were done. In 2003, when President Kufuor was a president of the Republic, and then this law was passed, assented onto by President Kufuor. It says, any employer carrying on or a worker engaged in an essential service shall not resort to a lockout or strike in connection with or in furtherance of any industrial dispute involving the workers in the essential service. Simple English. Let's go to the next page. Now, they're talking about the legal effect of strike or lockout. During any lawful strike, and by far what we have read, the Labour Commission says the strike is unlawful. But this is the legal effect if the strike is lawful. During any lawful strike or lockout, the employment relationship between the employer and the workers shall not be affected by the strike or lockout or any termination of the contract of employment as a result of the lawful strike or lockout is void. 2. No civil proceedings shall be brought against any worker or employer, trade unions or employers, organization or an officer, or any member of such trade union or organization in respect of any lawful strike or lockout action taken in conformity with provisions of this act. Nothing in this part shall render lawful an act of physical coercion or violence against any person or damage to the property of any person where the act or damage is an offense under the Criminal Code 1960 Act 29. Question that if you're a nurse you must ask yourself is this strike lawful? No, take me back to the court. Remember yesterday we were reading a court document. So the argument is that the splinter group, the psychiatric nurses are a splinter group. They are the ones that, and the other groups that say we will not be part of the strike. They are the ones that are saying that, they will not join the strike. But they went to court. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, went to court as well. When they went to court, eventually they had to agree and settle. They went to court with the hope that we have a case. We told our members we have a case. I'm sure that they did. I'm sure that the psychiatric nurses also said, we have a case. They went to court. They resorted to alternative dispute resolution. These were the terms that they agreed. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association and the Professional Association of Psychiatric Nurses Ghana shall not, later than the 28th day of January 2025, release a joint statement acknowledging that the GRNMA should have involved PAPNG in the negotiations for the executed collective agreement, which involvement is PAPNG's legal right. They resolved that the GRNMA goofed by not bringing them to the table. This is before the court. 2, both parties mutually agree to end the suit and implement the said collective agreement in good faith, for the general welfare of all public sector nursing and midwifery professionals across Ghana. This strike has been occasioned because 4 of the other unions, and the question they ask is, how many are they? They are unions regardless. In good faith. This is what you agreed to in court. In good faith. I'm not sure many nurses know this. The parties agree that PAPNG shall waive its objections to the implementation of the collective agreement, and the PAPNG's proposal shall be given due consideration during the midterm review of the agreement. 4, the GRNMA, as the holder of the collective bargaining certificate for nurses and midwives, shall unconditionally comply with Regulation 10 of the Labor Regulations 2007 LI 1833 by ensuring involvement of all registered trade unions, including the PAPNG, covered by the collective bargaining certificate in negotiating salaries and conditions of service for all public sector nurses and midwives in Ghana. They are asking that, let's go and engage. They say, no, we will not engage. Let's strike. Copies of the collective agreement shall be given to the leadership of all registered unions, who shall have the responsibility to educate their members on the content. And yesterday I showed a nurse that they're talking about health cover. They say when the nurses go to the hospital, even para, they don't give. I say, but in your collective agreement that your leader signed, that portion is in there that you have to be taken care of 100%. Your spouse also has to be taken care of, and 4 children. Not many people know. So you are being shortchanged. Are your leaders talking to you about those ones? The parties shall continue to be decorous in their communication and adopt usage of appropriate expressions and conduct towards the enhancement of inter-union harmony and collaboration. As a gesture of goodwill and good faith, GRNMA shall, in conclusive settlement of this suit, give a sum of 100,000 Ghana cedis to PAPNG that took GRNMA to court. The Nurses and Midwives Association paid them 100,000 Ghana cedis on or before the 28th day of March 2025. I'm told they have paid. You go to court to challenge what the people took to court that they are wrong. Eventually, you ended up paying them compensation. There shall be no order as to costs. These terms of settlement shall be filed in court for adoption as consent judgment. Wherefore, these terms are hereby adopted as the consent judgment of the court and given under my hand and sealed this 20th day of January 2025. Justice Inyonam Adinyera is Justice of the High Court, signed and certified. This is it. There's a final video that I'll play for you. The Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams has a video, and I think that we should all watch the video. You see the woman who was suffering and trying to breathe under the oxygen mask. You see that child that has been abandoned at the emergency now. And all those people who have been abandoned, I've read the law for you, right? I have also tried to tell you that you are drawing your power from one law, but the responsibility that is placed on you by that same law is being ignored. I've showed you, I've demonstrated that to you. The Archbishop has a word for you. Please, when it's done, please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. That's 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. I don't have anything against nurses getting their conditions of service. I've only asked 2 questions. I hope I get the answer regarding the licensure and locum. Play the Archbishop's video.
But a day shall come when everyone will give an account of what they did against others. That day of reckoning shall come. I'm telling you, nobody goes scot-free and nobody goes unpunished that touches others innocently, or you use others to cause others pain, for gain, for money, for influence, for exposure, or for a cause that Alaga does. But a day shall come when everyone will give an account of what they did against others. That day of reckoning shall come. I'm telling you, nobody goes scot-free and nobody goes unpunished that touches others innocently, or you use others to cause others pain, for gain, for money, for influence, for exposure, or for a cause that Alaga does.
Nobody shall escape. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Good morning.
Champion, the Johnny.
Chantel, how are you doing?